I'm quite a fan of Sue Ellen as a character, so I was really looking forward to watching Sue Ellen's Lost Diary. I have no recollection of this one from my childhood. I wasn't sure what to expect, other than, presumably, a Lost Diary. It's the first segment in the 14th episode of the second season of Arthur. And actually, not that much happens in it. Apart from when the characters imagine things and we see inside their imagination, it's all set pretty much in real time, in a very short space of time. But despite that, I found it to be quite interesting. It's primarily set in the library. Definitely a fan of that. And at the very beginning, we learn that Sue Ellen has misplaced her diary. She's been writing it in the library. She goes to check in some books or check out some books, and she realizes she's forgotten to pick up her diary. So she goes back to try and retrieve it, and it's not there. And while she's there, she bumps into Francine, and Muffy's also there, and Binky's there, and Arthur. I find it quite brilliant that they're all at the library at the same time. And they all kind of help Sue Ellen look for her diary, but they also begin to wonder what Sue Ellen might have said about them in her diary. And they begin to imagine all kinds of scenarios and things that Sue Ellen might have written about them. And I think that's a fair thing, that a lot of people will assume their friend has written about them in their diary. Most of us who keep diaries, I keep a diary. Actually, I don't write that much about the people in my life, which sounds weird. It's more of a thoughts and feelings diary rather than a log of things that have happened. But it's fair for them to start to wonder what Sue Ellen might have written about them. And it's creative, it's definitely interesting. Francine in particular has maybe an eye-opening moment as she begins to worry that Sue Ellen has written some nasty things about her, because Francine can come off as quite brusque and negative and nasty. She doesn't mean to, it's just her personality. And she begins to think that maybe she needs to be nicer to Sue Ellen. So even if Sue Ellen hasn't written anything about Francine, I think it's a great chance for them to evaluate how others might see them. And ultimately, the big question is, if they find the diary before Sue Ellen does, will they read it? Or will they realise that privacy means privacy? And also, sometimes it's better not to know. To be honest, I wouldn't want to know what people say about me in their diaries if they write about me for whatever reason. I don't want to know. And I think this episode covers some important topics with that. First of all, with how others might view you and whether you are performing your best. And also that diaries are a great thing and they are private. And I really enjoyed it. The fact that it was set mostly in the library, I love. Great mix of characters here. I had a lot of fun with it. Some really important messages in this one. I had high hopes based on the title alone. And I can honestly say, I really liked it.